So anybody who saw my top 10 most anticipated movies of 2023 video will know that the Super Mario Bros. Movie was on it. Which is funny because this was my most dreaded film of the year initially when it was announced. Because firstly, Mario is a very difficult game to adapt into a movie. We have a prime example of how badly that can go. Secondly, seeing Chris Pratt cast as my favourite video game character of all time was like my personal 9/11. But lastly, it was made by Illumination Studios. That is what worried me the most. Because look, yes, video game adaptations have been shaky in the past, but in recent years they've been doing pretty well considering Detective Pikachu, the Sonic movies, Arcane, The Last of Us. So it wasn't crazy to think this could have potential. And Chris Pratt, though lately has destroyed my will to live, isn't entirely devoid of charisma and can still bring some charm when needed, but Illumination is a roadblock I did not see this film getting around. In my entire time breathing on this earth, I sincerely believe Illumination Studios have never made a single good movie, animated or not. Their closest, in my opinion, is Despicable Me, their first film, and even then it is just adequate. But in the midst of my doubt, something magical happened to me. A trailer happened. The first trailer for this movie completely shattered every negative expectation I had in my mind. It completely sold me. It sold me to the point of making it to my most anticipated list of 2023. But it finally came out and I finally got to see it on opening night. And how was it? Well, the title should tell you, so let's just get into it. Some mild spoilers are to be expected. So first of all, as I already sort of mentioned, Mario is something that means a great deal to me. It's my favourite video game character and the games hold a special place in my heart, especially the NES and SNES games. Which is important to bear in mind with this whole video, but most importantly here because there's this logo at the beginning for Nintendo where they use the 8-bit theme and style and it instantly put a smile on my face. But when you finally get to the movie, you get a bunch of shots and moments from the trailer which confirms something that you could expect from seeing the trailer alone. And that is that this film looks gorgeous. It is by far the most visually rich movie Illumination have ever done. Comparing this to the blandness of any of their previous so-called hits like Minions, Sing, Secret Life of Pets, there is simply no contest. Along with the strikingly beautiful colours, the designs of everything are perfect, and I don't say that lightly. Every single aspect of this film, the characters, the kingdoms, the items, the creatures, are all incredibly faithful and filled me with joy as a fan. The details are so thorough that they even integrate the game mechanics into how the world functions. It was bold of them to use some of the more goofy aspects of the games and attempt to put them into this world, but they just did and treated it as normal, which is a fantastic choice. The best example of this by far is the course that Peach puts Mario through, which is essentially just a regular level on one of the games. It's brilliant and I love how it mirrors playing an actual Mario game, even down to how often you fail and the different ways that you fail. But it also shows you that nobody ever really starts off great at those games, especially the old ones. They're difficult, but it's about repetition and learning the patterns and getting better every time. It was just something small that actually meant a lot to me. As someone who clocks the first game in under 10 minutes, I know it's all muscle memory and repetition, so to see that represented when it really didn't have to be was glorious. Especially the sequence of Mario and Luigi running through Brooklyn. It was quite obviously an homage to World 1 Level 1 of the first game, which is my favourite video game level of all time. I quite literally think it's perfect, so I just think it was wonderful to see. But the visuals aren't the only thing that relates to the game in a faithful way. The music and sound effects are so prevalent throughout, and it was honestly so audacious to just have the music themes play in straight up. Not even in the remix kind of way most of the time. They just play the video game music and play the sound effects without any subtlety, which regularly would be an atrocious move, but I don't know, something about the audacity of not compromising on it just works for me. Plus, it's hitting all my nostalgia buttons, man. This movie knows how to talk to me and how to make me feel good. There's also a bunch of licensed music which feel a little bit out of place, but all the songs are bops, so it definitely is a give and take situation. But otherwise, some quick details I liked. I love how Luigi's Mansion got a little nudge as a fan of the original game. The Yoshi's Island moment was nice. The Mario Kart sequence was obviously incredible. I love that Mario's family are intensely New York Italians, and I love the cameo from Charles Martinet as Jumpman. Talking of the cast, man, this thing is casted brilliantly. Particular shout out to Jack Black as Bowser, which we all knew was going to be great, but Charlie Day as Luigi and Anya Taylor-Joy as Princess Peach are unlikely highlights to me. Keegan-Michael Key as Toad and Seth Rogen as Donkey Kong are just brilliantly cast comic relief. They can make unfunny dialogue at least half believable, which is always a big aid in an Illumination movie. All the other minor characters are well placed, but I think it's time we praise the unlikely hero. Just as unlikely as Mario himself, Chris Pratt. I think his Mario voice is honestly genius. It isn't completely cartoonish that it comes off as a weird cheap imitation, but it also isn't completely New York Italian, and he genuinely finds the balance very well, and I'll give him his props when he's earned them, and he has earned them this time around. I think all those who gave him shit for this, myself included, owe him an apology honestly. He did well. But the video is called The First Good Illumination, not the first incredible illumination, because it isn't without its faults. First of all, this is an Illumination movie after all, and the first 20 minutes are plagued with their typical humour. So is the rest of the film, but it is definitely most prevalent in the beginning, so you'd be forgiven for dreading the rest of the film if all you had to experience was the first 15 minutes or so. Also in the first 20 minutes or so, we have the typical Illumination humour design, which is notoriously awful. But again, luckily once we enter the Mushroom Kingdom and all the other kingdoms, that goes away completely. The pacing is also absolutely insane. Like, it's far too fast most of the time. The filmmakers are so concerned with wanting to show you everything this world has to offer that it never lets any of it actually soak in. There are a few moments where it does happen, like when we first meet the Mushroom Kingdom, but it usually goes like this. We get shown an idea that is fascinating, something beautiful, or a place that is conceptually affluent, and then we just speed past it. Which in one vein, I get it. Children have short attention spans, but also, god damn, I just want to experience all of this stuff. But the thing is, they're showing us so much stuff that children won't enjoy or care about. It's complete fan service for the adults who are fans of the game and have been for years, but it's packaged in a way that's best viewed by children. So it's a bit hard to find what audience the film is truly aiming for. But you know what? Who cares? This film is an Easter egg festival. The humour is solid, the animation is gorgeous, the cast give their all, they give Peach a genuine heroic role, and Mario just wants his taller than him GF, and honestly, he's literally me for real. I cannot hate this film because it's having so much fun, and despite what critics may be trying to convince you of, this is certifiably Illumination's first good film. Admittedly, it's mostly just fan service at feature length, but luckily for the film, I'm a fan, so it just works for me. So the film is realistically maybe a 6 out of 10. A solid good film, but I'm giving it a 7 out of 10 completely off the strength of me being a Mario Bros shill. And it's my channel, so fuck it. And with that said, have you seen this movie? If so, let me know what you thought of it, let me know what you think of this video. I read every single comment and reply to as many as possible, and whether it's Illumination's first good film or not, as always, keep watching movies.